Coach, you get one opportunity to play here at Kia Center before games start to count. What do you hope to get out of it, and how good will it be for your guys to get a chance to play here before the games start counting?
Well, it'll be great to be at home first and foremost, and then to actually get a game that we haven't had, obviously because the other one being canceled. But we're looking to get different lineups, different rotations, different combination of guys to see if the things that we've been working on and implementing, how they work against another team. And I think our guys have done a great job of concentrating and focusing on those small things that we've been implementing throughout camp.
The lack of a game here, it's only one preseason game tomorrow night here, the cancellation, was that kind of the factor in practicing here today, or why did you feel like you needed to practice in here today?
Yeah, you don't want the guys' first time to shooting the basketball to be, the day of the game. And so us coming over here, practicing, going through game reps, game speed, game style of focus, I think the guys did a tremendous job of, locking in on those things and understanding the why we came over here.
How different was it, being in an empty arena, obviously, but to be on this court, to be back in here?
Well, the guys' energy is the same, no matter what. I mean, between these lines, this is what this group does. The energy of providing for each other, pushing each other, focusing on the attention to detail of what we need to do during the game tomorrow. It has been great, not just in here, but even over at the practice facility.
To that point, you knew you were going to have a week between preseason games, before the game was canceled on Friday. Do you feel like you were able to get what you wanted out of this week of kind of intense practices before you kind of get to this last preseason game and then start preparing for the regular?
Well, I think part of preseason is gauging that. How much you condition, how much you give them rest. But again, our mental focus throughout the entire time has been fantastic. What they're picking up on and what we're asking them to do, they're doing a great job of that. And the other part about it is keeping guys healthy, and that's the big piece of walking out of this training camp right in this moment of everybody feeling good.
You mentioned wanting to mix up the lineups a little bit in the rotations. Is there anything that you want to see that you haven't seen yet throughout training camp in tomorrow's game?
No, I think there's really just different combinations of guys working together, and we've seen it throughout the camp, throughout the scrimmages, and guys understanding how they need to play depending on who you're out there on the floor with. And I think that we'll see a little bit more of that tomorrow, and I think it'll be good for this group to feel that against another opponent.
How has Kenny fit into the flow, being a new piece of the team, and with the rotation, and how the guys fitting in with Kenny?
I think he's doing a great job. His ability to communicate to guys, and I've said it, time and time again, he's grabbing some of the young guys and just communicating where to be on the floor. There was an example today of just us working on some end-of-game situation, and we talked about spacing, and he chimed in right away saying it's so important that you tell everybody where you want to be on the floor. And I think the more he can do that, the better it is for our guys to know that he has the experience and he's been around the type of players that know exactly what they want on the floor. The importance of being in the right spots is so important, and him being able to add that value to this group as well as the defensive focus has been tremendous.
How's Wendell doing?
He's doing well.
Was he able to?
He was able to go through practice today, yes.
We've heard a lot of players talk about how well AP's playing during camp. What have you seen from him and his growth during training camp and during this preseason?
I mean, there's so many pieces to it. We all know what he's capable of doing, but just his voice, his ability to control the floor, be a floor general, communicate to the guys exactly what he sees, what he needs. Then defensively, everyone understands exactly how good he can be and what he's capable of doing. So he's just taken another step from a leadership side as well as a vocal leader as much as well.
Now and seeing Cole's wearing a mask, how's he doing?
He's doing better. He made it through practice today. I think at the first part of practice, he might have gotten every shot possible. They kept feeding him to get him more reps, but he's doing well.
Is he just dealing with an illness?
Just a little cold.
I get questions from fans all the time. I'm just going to ask it. Shooting.
Yeah.
How's the Magic's shooting going to improve this season?
Well, we're going to find out. I think that's a big portion of it. I think, what people want to understand is that how does our offense get better? And that's a beautiful question to ask, because that is the truth. And so what we're going to have to do is just, take care of the basketball more, limit turnovers, be in the right spots at the right time. Like we were talking about what Kenny had said earlier about the spacing on the floor. That's so important. So the more that we do that and get guys in the right spots so they're comfortable when they're getting those open shots, and then they're confident enough to knock them down.
To be practicing back in the Kia Center for basketball, how is that?
It's good. It's good to be back. I mean, it's so different than the facility. It feels so empty. It's been a while. I'm obviously excited to get it started. It's so different to play games in practice. So.
How much are you guys looking forward to playing here tomorrow night?
It was awesome. I'm excited to kind of feel the vibe, continue from what we started last year, and yeah, things are going well. And obviously, the fans are a huge part of that, and you want to have them partake in that.
How big is the adjustment, having to adjust from the facility to the stadium, different sight lines, obviously? How big of an adjustment is that for you?
It's a minute away. It's right there. People carry my shoes and my gear. I'll just show up here, and then I practice, do my job. So there's literally no adjustment for me. So it's not very difficult.
Do you like where your group is right now, near the end of the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to say. Like, so many things that can happen. I'm happy everybody's healthy. It's a good vibe among the squad, but obviously you'll see when the games really start, when they really matter, and wins and losses to find the vibe. So it's really no way of telling.
So what's the vibe with Kenny in the mix now this year?
Maybe a little more maturity that we needed. Also, Kenny, a voice that speaks up. Won multiple championships, I think, Lakers and Denver. So he knows what he's talking about. People listen, and I think it's very important for us to have that maturity, have that experience in our gym.
What do you guys want to get out of the game tomorrow? You guys obviously have limited opportunities to play in these preseason games for whatever they're worth, but what do you guys want to see in the game tomorrow?
Honestly, for me, it's more about routine, getting my body back in shape. It's so different to be in a competitive environment out here than in the practice gym against your teammates. So, challenge yourself a little bit conditioning-wise and play hard and get in a routine, because that's it. After that, we're going to Miami and it counts. So almost take it like a game one a little bit, same approach, do everything as if it's your first game of the season.
Do you guys feel like, obviously you've had this kind of week plus to between games. Do you feel like you made the most of this time and are in position to be ready for the game on Wednesday?
I do think, obviously, when we had a whole week, even if we played New Orleans, we would have had a whole week to prepare. I think we did find a great balance between focus and then competitive spirit as well, and kind of apply what we learned in the film room and walkthroughs in a competitive environment. So I think we found a pretty good balance of that. Thank you, guys.
You guys have one more practice game before they really start to count. To have a preseason game here at the Kia Center, what can it do for you guys?
For one, it's just we'll get a feel for kind of playing in our home gym. Since we didn't get to play our game. It'll just give us a chance to feel what we feel, I guess, after the season, playing in our own building, on our court, in front of our crowd. So it's definitely a good dressing rehearsal for us.
What did you think of practicing here today, getting back in here for the first time in a while, I'm sure?
It looks like they redid the court, so it's good to be back in here for sure. The season's, that's how you feel the season coming closer, so it definitely feels good to be in here.
What do you want to get out of the game tomorrow? Obviously, guys have kind of been waiting around for a week. You got one more preseason game before it gets real. What do you want to see from the team tomorrow?
Just execution on the offensive end, and defensively just communication and playing hard, covering for each other, just doing all the things that we've been talking about all camp. I really just ending the preseason off on a good note before we start our season off with a couple good games.
Do you feel like you guys got a lot out of this past week, being able to go scrimmage against each other, like kind of really dig in and practice? You're going to have this week kind of too, regardless of whether the game was canceled Friday or not. But do you feel like you got a lot out of this week?
For sure. With our team, we're scrimmaging each other. That's really high level competition. So just getting to do that every day, just going up against each other every day is really making us a lot stronger, and our communication is growing. It's helped us in a lot of ways for sure. So we definitely gotten closer on the court for sure this past week.
A lot of your teammates have talked about kind of the comfort that they've seen you grow into in the second unit. How do you feel like this camp has gone for you as far as that?
It's went well. They're giving me a chance to play and make mistakes, just kind of run the group, and they're trusting me and talking to me and helping me through everything. So it's definitely been going well. Definitely feeling a lot more comfortable doing what I know how to do. So it's definitely been a good camp.
Is that what you did at Arkansas?
Yeah, I mean,
To be back in that role.
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of the stuff you see, a lot of just the downhill stuff and maybe some pick and roll, just things like that for sure.
Do you feel a lot more physically stronger now than maybe the end of last season?
I feel like honestly it's just like my mentality. Like I'm just back in that mode of just going downhill and getting to the rim, being physical. So definitely put in a lot of work, but it's really just my mentality, I feel like.